Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of Creators Convo. Absolutely insane that I've spoken about this quite a long time. If you don't know my name's Jaydon GameCTV. I'm a small content creator over on Twitch. Today, we're joined with MajorLeePlays. Obviously, he has some fantastic topics that we're going to go ahead and talk about. However, guys, before we get into this, if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe. To find everywhere else what Creators Convo's on, go to the Beacons page. And if you're a small creator interested in coming on, well, there'll be a form in the description as well with the Discord and all that beautiful stuff. But today, first ever episode, MajorLee Plays. Lee, how are you doing?
Hello, Jaydon. I'm doing well, thank you very much.
This sounds like the most awkward thing. No, because we're recording. And we never usually do this. Because with me, I'm kind of like camera shy for the first few times.
Obviously, some people will know that we used to do the EGC podcast together. So, and that was done live. So that was some awkward moments.
Yeah. Well, to start things off, Lee, obviously, we have our history of stream teams and everything. Let's talk more specifically on Splash Gang and 2020 Squad here, when we're about on Mixer. What was the whole purpose of 2020 Squad? Because obviously, some people that we've met along the way on our Twitch journey may not know what 2020 Squad was.
Yeah, obviously, I ran 2020 Squad. I started it when I met two really up and growing streamers on Mixer called Drew and Mac. And the idea was in one of the streams, people started calling themselves hashtag 2020, and it just sort of loads of community members used to just went absolutely mental with it, and it started spreading really, really quickly. And that's when I made the decision to go, right, I think we need a team back in March 2022 to 2020 fucking hell 2020 wrong year, sorry, too many teams. All right, 2020 and obviously hence why hashtag 2020. Obviously we do know why a massive purpose for that was because of the pandemic, and we made something so people could come together, and we was a reason of a team to make people smile on a bad day, etc. That lasted until obviously it ended the 1st of January 2021. Most purpose of it was called the 2020 Squad. It was the squad for the year. It was a team, and obviously there was decisions like whether we just change the name or we just stop it. And I decided overall I'll just stop it because after the shutdown, unfortunately the shutdown of Mixer, and that's when we switched over to now Twitch as the main platform for streaming.
And to be fair, it's like a lot of people that we know stopped streaming over that time as well. We're one or two of many of the 2020 Squad that haven't. Well, to be fair, we've had our on and off moments where we've just came back, gone off for a bit, came back, come off for a bit. 2020 Squad ends. Splash Gang at the time that 2020 Squad end, where we're all going over to Switch. Splash Gang goes into EGC at this time period, which is the summer of 2020. 2020 Squad ends, and some of the members go ahead and join EGC at the start of 2021. Which we've obviously both done our time in leadership. EGC pretty much at this point, 6 members, December 2020 on life support, to say the least. I mean, I'm not wrong, but am I wrong? In saying that at the time and leading it at the time, me, you, and all the other Guardians at the time just knew that was the case. It was just kind of, we need to find a way to make this go alive, or this is it pretty much.
Yeah, it was a make and break situation. The rebrand started back in, I think, June or July of 2020. I was somewhat affiliated with Splash Gang, but I did end up leaving and joining for reasons I won't name. But I ended up coming back. I ended up going back into Splash Gang just at the end to help basically rebrand it into what was known as EGC, or as Endgame Community. And I was a big part of making. And with Jaydon, obviously making a big change, because obviously a lot of things happen with Splash Gang beyond when Jaydon used to just run it himself with these old lots. And I sort of came in and, magically ended up as co-leader of it all. So but obviously, like you said, it was a make or break moment back in December. Obviously, 2020 squad was on my mind. That was about to end, but I ended that obviously, and then I wanted to put everything into EGC, and that's what we did. And the turnaround, I think Jaydon needs to
The
explain the turnaround.
turnaround was we needed the turnaround, but that wasn't the turnaround we were expecting. I think we were happy to get about like 4 or 5 more people into the door. Over the next 3 months, we got about 20, which was ridiculous because we weren't expecting that. We were not expecting that one bit. We were not expecting that one bit. But the major part of it all was that a lot of the people, the Levi major part. Hey, right, cringe. Sorry, but the obviously that big part was a lot of the people that we were meeting, bringing in, like a lot of the networking I was doing at this time was off TikTok. That's how I met some of the people that we know today, like Coffee, shout out Coffee, Rodif being another, shout out Rodif, and a lot of the greater friends that I meet nowadays are all off TikTok networking. It's just ridiculous. And obviously EGC at this time flying about, we're doing the podcast. Obviously we had a very good one where we had me, you, Joe, and Jack on there. That was probably the funniest one. It came under no surprise that one would be the funniest one, to be fair. But the podcasts there were more like a roast session. To be fair, they were just more like a roast session.
Obviously being live, obviously you had a community that tuned in, so you had to sort of spice up to the normal classic podcast, and we wanted to put our own twist in it. You know, it was about friendship and just helping each other and just supporting each other throughout. Well, a lot of them just started into streaming. Obviously, you'll get on here at some point. Leonard or Alan D, which obviously is just rebranded into, who will come in here and hopefully explain all of his sort of side to why he started streaming and stuff like that. And Jackard started his streaming and stuff like that. And obviously it was just a perfect bunch to have at that time, sort of like an icebreaker to the team, you know, get people from EGC, other parts of EGC to see who all these people were, and you got to see them live in a friendly face and a friendly fashion, you know.
And it was probably one of the best times because also we had the Minecraft realm as well. That also did, for some reason, create so many arguments, for some reason. Which I'm glad that I'm not paying £6 for that anymore. Because the amount of arguments I was having to put up with and re-roll the world. But I don't have to worry about that anymore. Obviously...
the round was very popular. I thought the round was overall successful. I was surprised the amount of people kept playing and how people enjoyed it and stuff like that. And a lot of VGC members run it. I even did a couple of streams when it first launched and stuff like that, which was just my streams absolutely blew up and I got raids and stuff like that. It was just absolutely mental during that time. To say, like, you know, I'm not a personal fan of console or the Bedrock edition of Minecraft. I prefer Java, and hopefully we might do some more content towards Java Minecraft coming into the future. But as an overall to EGC, it was a massive success, I think. Yeah, unfortunately, some people are abused, but you always get those type of people, and you just, you know, at the end of the day, you just get on with it, you know?
Well, obviously hits the summer as well. We obviously continue the path with EGC. Then later on down the line, come October, 4 days before my birthday, may I just say this, Lee wishes me an early happy birthday 4 days early, right? Guess what he does? He leaves. He left. He was like, you know what, Jaydon, I've enough of you here. Gonna go ahead and leave you. No,
to change topic very quickly, before we end the 2020 chat, because obviously I ran something. There's one thing that I still had. Still have left from the 2020 squad.
No
and that is
way.
The
no
t-shirt
way.
that we used to rock back when 2020 was a thing.
My.
And
God.
And I still got it to this day because that was the main team or the first stepping stone back into going into content creation as my own. But not just that, obviously, started my graphics there because obviously I made that logo and that was one of my first proper logos I made for a team. And honestly, that's like, I could not let go of that, And
Oh.
I think an old member might still have his, which is called Gormo, who's moved on to YouTube after the end of Mixer.
Shout out Gorma,
Um,
by the
and
way. Shout out Gorma.
and I think he also has a shirt as well. I think there are some others that might still. I can't remember fully. I believe I gave a shirt out as well. So it's just one of them,
That's mad to
It's a
think
rare
that you've still
commodity.
got that, though. That is mad.
Yeah,
Imagine if
I
we did
will.
that during EGC times. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I do want to pursue merch again sometime in the future, but obviously that's something like that. And I will one day will with this lovely shirt, I will frame it like the Bell shirt behind me. It will be framed as a memory going forward with wherever I go.
Lee, then obviously it comes October time, you leave EGC mid-October, 4 days before my birthday. Won't ever forget that. Obviously your reasoning for that was personal life because you're in your final year of uni. Just for the people that don't know what you do at uni, what do you do?
Uh, well, I at the third year, it's classed as information technology, but it's part of a software engineering tree. I did three. It's 3 years into it. Obviously, that's what I went with, and that's basically just coding, website development, app development, project planning, stuff like that. And I forgot to put my phone on mute. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so fantastic at
Oh
this.
man.
Some things never change.
um,
um, but yeah, I'm just doing basically computer stuff. That's the easiest way. I can't go too far because if I speak too much with computers, everyone just loses their mind. But obviously, if you ever want to have a chat about my computer stuff or about my university, just hit me up. I'm always there for a chat.
And may I just say, anyone that we do bring on the podcast, the beacons, any links to them will be in the description as well, so you can go ahead and check them out. So Lee's Twitter, his beacons, all that beautiful stuff will be in the description of this video. So if you haven't already, make sure you go check Lee out. So Lee, in this time, then you then move over to graphic design. You're now with Leveled Up. Now, personally speaking, I don't know much about Leveled Up. Shout out to Leveled Up as well. What is Leveled Up? Who are they? Can you give us some explanation on who Leveled Up are?
Um, Obviously there's a story behind Leveled Up, but to just explain Leveled Up, we are a representation, like a team, an organisation, which is slowly, hopefully, will soon be a proper organisation with some of the ideas I've got. Obviously, for reasons I can't say and specify stuff, but we're just a representation of what Leveled Up is. Obviously, it's mainly ran from a FIFA trade in Discord, but that's now split off into graphic design area, content creators and streamers. So like you're just your average stream team, and obviously other part, well, and then the trading team, of course, itself. And there's more to come like that, and more teams to sort of break it into to different parts. And the main part of this team is to represent Leveled Up as the best way as we can, and to be honest, it's mad. It's mad times at the moment. It's hectic, but there's so much potential, and they've already got themselves such a good basis and a very, very good foundation with the people they've got and the followers they've already got and the success that Leveled Up have already had. It's just going up and up and up, and it will continue to do so.
Well, that's absolutely brilliant to hear. So, obviously, now you're with them as a graphic designer. You've done your time of leading stream teams and being member of stream teams, obviously without the graphic design role. But do you think, and this is a question for you, for the time that you've done this, do you think that you would go back into leading stream teams at some point? And I will answer this question as well. I will answer this question as well.
Um, Obviously, they could when you're part of like a big organization like Leveled Up, there is always the opportunity to move up and move positions and stuff. As overall, I don't want to move into leadership, and I do not plan at this time or the foreseeable future to be a leader of a stream team again. Like I did that twice with 2020 and with EGC. Don't get me wrong, absolutely, we had amazing times. We had, sorry to say this, but like crap times. That's just how it goes. That's life. But I would not at the moment. No, I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy being back at the content creation fronts, whether by like my own personal stuff, but then also helping people with graphics and being doing a lot of graphic design now and being recognized as a graphic designer for such a team is just it's just huge, isn't it? Like,
It
come
is amazing,
on.
that, to be fair. To be fair, obviously, I had my fair time because obviously before I met you guys met me in February 2020 before 2020 Squad became like an actual stream team over on Mixer, which we will come back to a Mixer topic in just a second because of the other topic that you have put on here. I did about 2.5 years of leadership, which went from Splash Gangs to EGC. I think for me, I don't think I'd do stream teams again whatsoever. I personally don't think for me that they were for me, that I look back on it. Don't get me wrong, enjoyed it, loved it. Obviously had my bad moments, had my good moments, met some of the coolest people that I've ever met along the way. Some a bit, to say the least, dickheads. But I mean, I'm gonna say it how it is, but it's like you're gonna meet them in the streaming world. It's the online community. You're gonna get that, and you're gonna have people like that. So I'm just gonna say it how it is. And personally, for me, I just don't think at this point, when I took my timer, I just kind of looked back. I was like, maybe it wasn't for me. Maybe it was a bit, a bit too stressful for me. There's other reasons behind it, but obviously for someone that enjoyed it for like the most part, I don't think it would be for me. I don't think it'd be something to go back into or be a member of or anything. Like, just doesn't suit me, to be honest.
Yeah, that's just fair enough, really, at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, you tried it, you gave it a really good go, like 2.5 years, so, putting effort towards that.
And to say
It's
that as
a lot of time.
well, just bear in mind, I started Splash Gang when I was only 3 months into content creation. So, to put that to perspective, they have been in my content creation path for most of my time as a content creator before the point that I left. But then even before then, I was still kind of a duo with a mate called Highway the first month that we did it. And obviously, shout out Highway. Highway is called Alex. He's an IRL mate that I've known for quite a long time, most of my life. And obviously, we used to stream like Black Ops 2 Zombies together when we first started out and everything. It was mad. And then he stopped, and then I kind of ran solo for 2 months, and then we started up the stream team. That's just kind of how it was. And then obviously I had to leave EGC in November. I wanted to go focus on my personal life. I did not come back until March this year. Because I was unsure that I was going to come back, to be honest with you. And I've said this before publicly. I've said all about it. I said why I left EGC publicly. Personal reasons. People don't believe me. People don't believe me. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and try and convince people like, oh no, you must believe me, because it's just like, it's people's opinions, but I just can't be bothered trying to change it. Obviously, you just kind of get the weird people that go weird with you just for the fact of leaving a scene. It's like, but mate, I'm still cool with you, sort of thing. I've had it, and obviously I've had it. It's just part of it, I guess. It's kind of a weird thing, but
Yeah, obviously, when I left EGC, obviously these guys already had plenty of warning saying that it was going to be my third year of uni and stuff like that, and things that I wanted to pursue over stuff, and it was just time commitment. Like, with a stream team, definitely leading one, it has to be something you've got to put a lot of time in. It's not something you can do part time. It's just too difficult. Definitely when you're running people and people rely off you and off your ideas, and you've got to try and motivate people. When if you're struggling with motivation for yourself at times, it's just it's sometimes it's hard to help people and stuff like that. So it's at the end of the day, you've got to just sit there, and like you did, Jaydon, you just sit there and be like, right, actually, do you know what? I've had enough. You know, that's I don't want to do this anymore. I've tried. And it's to a point where it's just too much, or it's the point where I'm not enjoying it. It's what I did, like where I start or where it is. So then you just go, right, let's have a look at other ideas and let me try something different. You know.
And do bear in mind as well, like obviously the reason why I announced Creators Convo, like when I did, is because if I came into the podcast thing again, it wouldn't be too much of a shock. We did 1 or 2 podcasts of Splash Gang before I met you, Lee, back on Mixer. We obviously did the lot under the EGC times, and I enjoyed them. So for me to be doing Creators Convo right now would not be a shock. But it's the fact is that I was still thinking of ideas. Even the fact is that I wasn't so sure if I was coming back. Just so for when if I did come back, I had those ideas already in mind and I pitched them. Obviously, a few people have heard the pitched ideas. I may I just say people loved them. I wasn't so sure in it because I lack confidence. It's not really the best of things to say, but I'm not afraid to say how I feel about a lot of things, to be honest with you. Lee, here comes the next part of it. We obviously spoke about this as both of our journeys, but Mixer versus Twitch. This was just this is definitely a interesting topic. A lot of people would talk about the Mixer shutdown, but there was a time where people thought Mixer would rival Twitch. That would be the arrivals of Ninja, Shroud. I mean, this was looking for a good time for Mixer, and all of a sudden, it didn't seem to go that way. What do you think put Mixer in the mud?
Being someone that's been sounded like a football coach with that today, didn't it? And how are you? And what's the score now, Jeff? Yeah, it's 2-2, Jeff. No, sorry, I'm sorry. Well, I was just sort of thinking, like, obviously, Microsoft run Mixer, and I know that Mixer have known to pull the plug of a lot of things when things are not working the way it did. But I think the first mistake is the it was the amount of money they were sending to people to run off their platform. Like, you know, I think they had Stroud, I think it was, or Shroud, whatever his name was, the Fortnite player and that, and obviously Ninja. They obviously bought across, which I probably was on. They was given massive contracts. People like FIFA players like the Penfez and just so many like loads of like partners and high YouTubers and stuff that they just tried to buy into. Obviously, Mixer, and I think they just it went up for a bit and then it just started getting dropping, and they were struggling with a high number of concurrent viewers on the platform compared to like YouTube and Mixer. But for me, the number one thing what I find mad was TikTok was starting to pull off. It wasn't quite. It was still going up. It wasn't quite the number it is now. I think TikTok would have been something that would have massively increased Mixer. Obviously, then was also Xbox bringing their brand new console out. Same with PlayStation, obviously with their Xbox Series X and S. That could have been a time where they could have promoted their Mixer a lot more and used ways to boost up Mixer themselves. But it seems Microsoft just didn't want to focus on Mixer anymore. They didn't want to dedicate money or time anymore, so they just sold it off to, I believe it was Facebook, all their like people across and stuff like that, which was it's just a horrible shame because it was a really good platform. Yeah, there had its problems, and of course it wasn't the biggest, but it was a great starting point, a fantastic starting point. If you wanted to get into content creating, was to through Mixer. You built everything up through Mixer, and then to go further, then you could have jumped to when TikTok was going bigger, you could have jumped to TikTok, you could have jumped to those sort of other socials. And it's a shame. I think Microsoft to this day still made a really bad decision. They just looked at data as an overall and not actually what people thought or actually where they could have actually boosted Mixer easily. They just basically gave up on it, and that's the truth of it. if you want to link it to, like, if I was going to say the two, obviously Twitch offer things like the mod view, which is absolutely a fantastic tool. Channel editor, once again, you can go straight into people's channel dashboards and just be able to edit straight their old streams using the highlighting tool and stuff like that. You know, you've got a lot of that sort of great stuff that, you know, Mixer did lack. I think
And
YouTube
do
lack.
remember as well, Twitch has an affiliate program which Mixer didn't have. Mixer only had Embers, or then it was just leaving a donation link. With Twitch, you've got bits, you've got subs, you've got the lot, really.
Yeah, you did get subs unless you're partner, obviously. Which, yeah, I think that was a good thing about. Yeah, Twitch has a better system of growth, but Twitch is very the hardest place to grow. It's just an uphill battle all the time. Obviously, just getting yourself to be seen. You know, trying to be unique, trying to be yourself. You know, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of hard work. But you know, like definitely lately, the power of TikTok and Twitch together, you can see has just changed people's lives, changed their career aspects, changed a lot of their uh, what they see as a streamer. That they now have potential to become big streamers because of it. You know, and that's amazing. And that's what Mixer could have had. You know, that could TikTok alone could have pulled a lot of more viewers and concurrent viewers to the platform, because a lot of people didn't know what Mixer was, because obviously it was late, it was quite a new thing.
It wasn't
Obviously,
really well advertised, which was I would
exactly.
kind of say to the point. Mixer was only advertised on like the Xbox home screen, but realistically, no one really looks on the Xbox home screen. So it was kind of a bit, it lacks advertising, but also that it kind of just lacks just simple stuff. Like for Teams, if you tried to upload a logo, you couldn't upload a logo. Like there were simple bugs that they just didn't even fix.
Yeah, I obviously, yeah, they did lack. Obviously, but that makes a really good point. The teams that you could form on there, the mixer teams, was such a fantastic idea. You know, like on Twitch, you've got to be partnered to be able to make a Twitch team. But obviously, with that, you didn't have to, and you could be up into three. And I think that was such a miles better way of connecting communities and connecting people
You want
together.
to say one other thing that was big on Mixer that Twitch don't really allow a lot?
What's that?
Lurking.
Yeah, yeah.
That is
That's just
compare the two here. Obviously, lurking on Mixer was obviously miles better than it is on Twitch, without a doubt.
yeah. Obviously, lurking on Mixer was a thing that a lot of people said, because people would leave tabs open for each other, tabs open on an account, and obviously when the person would host, obviously there was a raid and then there was hosting. So when someone would host with their viewership to another person, they would all stay there. Obviously, a lot of people ended up abusing that, and obviously they was using bots to do it, so they could pull up people's viewers. But to be fair, with the partnership program, already Mixer knew that their team already knew that there was bots, and they didn't. They were already accounted to the partnership program that they don't count. It's based on concurrent viewership, so it wasn't that big of a thing. It also gave people the thing of bigger raids and bigger hosts by smaller people, to be fair, and it just allowed a more positive environment. You let's say you've got about 50, 60 people, and it might not be, you might only have like 10, 15, 20 concurrent people in the actual chat, but it also gives you that the feel of positivity, and it's like, oh, actually that was a really good stream, I enjoyed that. Because at the end of the day, maybe 10 of those people, 15, 20 people that are, I generally just have the tab open, are just completely lurking, don't type anything, they might have still enjoyed it equally as people that do type, And I'm someone like that on Twitch. I lurk a lot. I moderate for a lot of people, so there's no way I can sit there and type and have full on conversations with every single streamer.
The worst
Um,
thing is, with Twitch, you're limited to 3 tabs only as well. Mixer, you weren't limited to that. And Twitch, you're only limited to 3 tabs that you're actually able to lurk in.
Yeah, and I also know that people that use Multistream, which is a website, you can put the URL of each. So you basically have the main URL of Multistream, and then you can add like let's say you could have my channel, you could have Jaydon's channel, and someone else's channel, and they wouldn't count as viewers. And I know a lot of people that do that because they when there's a few streamers on, instead of just having three separate big tabs trying to bounce on maybe like one or two screens, they can literally have all three streams on one screen, and they can just tap each screen to change into their stream like that and stuff like that. And they don't count for viewership either. The lurking is just awful, like because of obviously there's a lot to go with bots. There's so much to speak about the bots on Twitch. But obviously, because of bots being going into chats and stuff, they class now that if people don't type anything, they will just count. They'll remove the viewer from that. They'll remove viewer if they don't have their sound on. They'll remove the viewer if they're not since joining the chat. If they don't type or do anything, click on the tab, for example, for a good like around about 10 to 15 minutes, then the viewership goes off. And I know this because sometimes in my chat I might have like 7 people, and that's perfectly fine. When I go into my viewer list, there's about 15 to 20 people that are all lurking. There are people sometimes I've had more chatters in the chat that are speaking to me than it has shown me the viewership on OBS and on Twitch. So it just showed sometimes I've dropped down to 4 viewers. I've got 7 people all talking in my chat, and it doesn't update it. And I think it's just because I think they've got so many systems in place. Twitch, they've had so many problems that they've just basically lost the plot. But
And then this also comes into the part where we play in the part of Mixer as well. Obviously, Mixer shuts down summer of 2020. We've obviously had the talking point on stream teams. Obviously, how do you think that a lot of the stream teams were affected by the Mixer shutdown, converting over to Twitch? How do you think that affected all of that?
that's a really good idea. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, Jaydon. Most stream teams just went down. That's just straight up. Most of them did. There's some that still stayed up, but I think overall they're not the same. Any mixer team that was are no longer a mixer team, and it was a choice at that point. They make it into a full-on organization, or they just or they try and develop some sort of stream team for Twitch. If they had a partnered streamer, then obviously they can make a stream team, and that was all right. But a lot of people, I think a lot of teams just decided to break the thing. Obviously, EGC wasn't one of them. EGC did stay for a bit throughout the Twitch time, obviously, because that's where it was on Twitch the most. Well, EGC was during the entire time, basically, while it was on Twitch. And it showed that you can do it. It is harder because obviously you can't showcase your team as much or advertise your team through their actual platform, but you can. It's shown when we had the good part when we had 20, nearly 30 people joining our team. It showed that it is possible, and it is there. But like I said, it took a lot of work, a lot more work than it might have done on Mixer. Because you just had the opportunity to just look at other teams straight through their platform without having to ask questions, go into Discord, etc., etc.
It was just definitely one of those testing times, and obviously Mixer shut down. You didn't really know at this point, no matter which platform you went to. Obviously, you saw a lot of more platforms come up. You saw the likes of Trovo, Glemish. Can I just say this about Glemish? I remember me and you were in a voice channel where they were trying to do their live stream watch party, right? And their stream must have crashed about 20 times. And I'm not being funny, but I think that is probably the worst launch party that I've seen for a streaming platform. And don't get me wrong, I saw sites like Trovo, and Trovo did not look like a bad site, to be honest with you. But it wouldn't be a main place where I would want to pick my streaming path. YouTube, obviously, is kind of coming into the part where, now they've got the likes of Tim the Tapman and everything. They got the likes of Tim the Tapman and a few others when the Twitch issue, yes again, it seems like when Twitch issues happen, another platform pounces on it. You've seen it with Mixer, you've seen YouTube do it now, because obviously they got their hands on the likes of the Tatman now. And that also came from the bot issue, September 2021, for Twitch. It was a video that I covered over on my own channel a little bit,
Yeah.
explaining that full part, which is no longer on my channel. I kind of just wiped everything from my channel just so I could have a full restart when I got my new setup and everything. But
Yeah.
obviously I covered a lot of that and the hate raids and everything, and obviously you've told me as of recent they're back. Just to come on to the topic of Twitch, if these sort of things happen, and now obviously YouTube compared to Mixer is obviously a very, very different kind of situation to approach here, because YouTube has been a well-established platform compared to where Mixer wasn't. It just had, big spenders behind it. Well, this isn't the
Yeah.
case with YouTube. Could you see YouTube overtake Twitch streaming-wise?
Not a chance. YouTube will always be the kings of videos, and I think TikTok's overtaken YouTube, but YouTube will always be a place where people watch longer videos and longer, like certain content videos that they want to see. But YouTube streaming wise will never be as big as Twitch. I don't think there will ever be a platform that'll be as big as Twitch. Twitch started off as a live streaming platform and they'll end as a live streaming platform. That'll always be that case, you know. YouTube started off as mainly a video, like a recorded video um, sort of website. Like you can go and have a vast range of videos that you can watch. That will always stay like that. As more, obviously, them doing the streaming side does offer a good part. It offers a different community, a different side to things and stuff like that. And I do hope that maybe in the future I can be involved in YouTube streaming to see that sort of side of things than just Twitch, which I am really interested in doing. But obviously, the one thing you do have YouTube, unlike Twitch, is if you do videos on YouTube. You go with your daily videos or whatever you do, you can be like, right, today I'm going to do a live stream on my YouTube. Obviously, you're linked to all your subscribers, etc., etc. So that way, you can then obviously build content basically for your YouTube at the same time while also streaming on it. So obviously, you get that like that. That's just like that's quite good like that. But in a way of streaming on its own, no, it won't ever be as big as Twitch.
They obviously do have a lot of good names over on YouTube. You have the likes of Tim the Sapman, like I've said. Dr. Disrespects, which obviously everyone knows the situation between Dr. Disrespects and Twitch. No ideas given on about that, of what could have happened. Obviously, there was the final clip of Dr. Disrespect saying, "We'll get through this together," or something like that. And since then, he's not been seen on Twitch. He got banned from Twitch. Obviously, there were a few rumors that it may have been from a Mixer contract, so Twitch offered him, one that he would stay. Obviously, if you saw the Sidemen mukbang after the first lockdown, Bazinga Sidemen, he was offered a contract with Mixer, which he turned down. He stayed on Twitch. But obviously, it just comes to show as well, when Twitch make an issue, or if an issue isn't resolved, big creators seem to go to the one that's just below, trying to rival Twitch, and obviously now it's the case of it being YouTube. Obviously, everyone's gonna have a lot of mixed opinions on whether YouTube could overtake or couldn't overtake. It's just
Yeah,
kind of one of those things at the moment. Realistically, I think Switch will stay top dogs, but I
yeah,
think they just need to keep on top of their issues and just stop making stupid mistakes that they have been doing, obviously, over the last few years. Which they obviously got a lot of their big names back after Mixer closed. So, and to be fair, let's just say this: Shroud and Ninja, biggest GTA 5 bank heist of the century. Because they still obviously kept the full money that they were paid to go over to Mixer, which is absolutely insane. But now let's obviously stick with the Twitch side and everything. This is where you did, and this is obviously where I'm gonna bring this up now. Forfeit for charity. 2 charity streams done so far. One for Calm, one for Macmillan Cancer Support. Over £2,000 for Calm in the top 4 all time. And you did another for Macmillan Cancer Support 2021, £1,100 raised. Where did all this come into idea for the Forfeit Charity, Lee?
Obviously, I don't do it myself. I mainly run Forfeit for Charity, but I do this with some my brother called Aaron and a mate that we're with called Coxie or Mike, and basically a close mate of them two. And someone I knew and stuff like that took their own life just before the first charity stream back in November 2020, was it?
It's
God.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, it's mental. Um,
Time flies.
yeah. And this was just after, obviously, what's it called? Mixer shut down. But yeah, obviously, unfortunately, someone took their own life. And as a thing, they came to me and asked me, they was going to do something, and they asked me, would you actually help us run basically a charity stream? I said, of course, I'm happy to run a charity stream. Uh, and it came down to a lot of planning. Obviously, we only had so much time because they wanted it to do it after his funeral. I think around about a week after, so that we could just, obviously do the charity stream and do it. And what we sort of thought was sort of how to run it. Obviously, we worked out the charity quite quickly. We want to do it for Calm. Absolutely fantastic organisation, very easy to deal with, and just behind the scenes, very very nice, amazing people. And what we decided was something to do with forfeit. I think we was just like, I think we need to do forfeit. So we wanted to do milestones, and we decided that every £5 was a forfeit. And obviously, it went. The first one went really well. Obviously, there's 3 of us. It just went amazingly. We raised over £2,000. It was just absolutely fantastic. It was just amazing what people could do when it comes together, and for both of them, easily. Just when people come together, it's just amazing what you can raise. And obviously, that all went straight to Khan. Obviously, I used just giving for the first one so that it would just go straight to them. So there was no panicking or being accused of keeping or anything like that. Obviously, no, everything was out of my hands because they deserved every bit of money that we raised to go straight to Khan. So, but yeah, the forfeit.
There were definitely some interesting ones.
Obviously, the first one, obviously, it was simple quality. Obviously, I was still developing my graphics and stuff. Very simple graphics, but it did the job. It looked good, and people had a lot of fun. Obviously, I didn't have the best like cameras or the lighting and stuff like I did, but honestly, it was amazing. It just and just never have a Carolina Reaper just for your own sakes. It's not worth it. It's not even worth it for money. It's just horrible. But for 24 hours, like a lot of people could be like, I could do it 24 hours. All right, fair enough. You can do it 24 hours. There's people that can stream 24 hours and plus. Yeah, fair enough. But doing 24 hours at every single fiver to be in a spin on a forfeit and doing forfeits every £5 for full 24 hours is a different story. It absolutely drains you. And it's not easy. But
and you obviously showed that in the 2 streams that you've done so far, coming in 2020 November and August 2021. But is there one coming in 2022, Lee?
I don't want to say too much, but yes, we already have spoken, we've already planned, and we've had words that there will be another one in 2022. It will be a different format. It won't be exactly the same. The idea is that instead of one 24-hour stream, we've done it twice. Obviously, the second one would just be a Coxie, and we brought on some loads of guests and stuff like that. Shout out to all the guests that have ever joined in. They've been absolutely amazing. Anyone that's helped with charity streams. You all just have a massive shout out to you guys. You're just as important as us three, obviously sitting on the stream. But yes, and I believe my brother shall be returning for this one. Fingers crossed, hopefully, because it's so much better when it's us three together. Hopefully we'll bring back guests and stuff like that. But yes, a different format, and the format on all I'll only link this bit is that it will be going into 2 separate 12-hour streams, and that's all I'll say.
Well, obviously you've done your time with fourth of its charity here as well on Twitch. It obviously comes into this third one, which definitely seems to be a massive one again. Well, obviously charity streams are obviously a massive thing. And to know now that already this will be your third time in 3 years doing this as well, definitely just give yourself a pat on the back because it is a massive thing. Because personally for me, I couldn't, like, don't get me, I would love to do a charity stream at some point, but I don't think I could last like the whole 24 hours like you've done it yourself.
Yeah, like the one that you could last even 12 hours.
Was there any need? Was there any need?
It was still a really good stream for the 8 hours.
To be fair, I think that's probably the longest stream I've ever done. But then, to be fair, I've only realistically in my time only ever really done like 1 hour, 2 hour streams. But now I've built up to like the 3 or 4 hour mark since getting the new setup and everything.
I've got a question for you, Jaydon. You know, you've been questioning me. I've got a question for you.
All right, let's got a question for the host.
Would you ever do a charity stream yourself?
Yeah, 100%. I already know which one I would like to do it for. Which would obviously you've obviously done it for you. Obviously for me, it would have to be Macmillan first.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, they're close to my heart. Personally, Macmillan can support all the sort of stuff that they do. So for me, it would have to go with them first. That's only the really answer I can give because obviously they were good with a family member that I had in 2019. Unfortunately, they passed away. Pancreatic cancer, sadly.
Joe, this is very rude of you, right? When you see this episode, yeah, this is very rude.
Oh my goodness. Why is he trying to call you right now? But alright, shout out Leonard, but you're a fraud. Anyway. Speaking of Leonard, obviously, depending when this episode comes out, guys, Lee will be featuring on the first ever live streamed Creators Convo episode over on Twitch. So the official Twitch channel, Creators Convo Live, that'll be in the description. This episode should come out before we haven't got anything like at the time of recording of when everything's being confirmed and everything. But keep an eye on the socials and everything. Once it gets announced and all of that, well, it may already be announced by the time this comes out. But who knows? Just keep a look about because I'll obviously post a few reminders and everything. Leonard's will be the first live streamed one with a huge announcement alongside with myself and Lee of something that is massive, something that we're excited to be doing, and obviously Leonard, very close friend of ours as well. Someone that I know IRL, someone that I met in college 2020. So at the time I already knew Lee, so Lee's known me longer than someone has IRL already. So
as a little game for the people out there and the people that watch this, we've got a big announcement, obviously, that hopefully will come onto the live episode. But for those that do see this video before the live, which hopefully that's the case, we'll give you the initials. It starts with P, and the other word is I. I want to see your guesses, see what we think, what the name is, and you'll see that day. But have a guess. Just put it in the comments.
Put in the comments what you think this could be, because I will tell you now, it is definitely a very different idea that we've done. Definitely something really new. So it's not something that we're returning to, but it is a very new thing. Which obviously you need to experiment, obviously, in the online world.
Yeah, and number one, it's not a new stream team, all right? I've had DMs think it's a new stream team. It's not a new stream team, all right? All right, we did say how many times we're done with that stuff, and we've said it here that we're done with that stuff for the time being. That's something that we, for the foreseeable future, doing. It's a brand new idea, it's a brand new concept, and I think for just what we want to do, I think it's just a fantastic thing to go forward with. once now we're back on the flow of content creating. You know, obviously Jaydon's smashing out his streams lately. Obviously, you've been in his channel. He's obviously done a load of streams, longer streams. So obviously, it's fantastic to see Jaydon back. And obviously, I am streaming around about once a week. Obviously, being a part of Leveled Up, being a graphics designer, obviously people doing my graphics now and asking for paid work, etc. So obviously, and obviously unions over the top of that. Oh Jesus Christ, what am I doing? Obviously, you know, obviously we're coming back to a thing. But obviously, like I said, I do a stream once a week, and I know Jaydon probably will start to limit his once he does obviously this and obviously pie and whatever. And obviously other stuff that he might go and do in his obviously personal life. Obviously, you'll see a sort of balance out, but you'll see enough of us. You'll see plenty of us.
Do you think though? Do you think anyone could really try and thrash out the whole thing? Do you think someone's gonna get this before we announce it? Do you think there could be anyone that could guess this? But at the same time, I don't think so until we announce it. I think people are gonna sort of kind of get the idea. But I don't think they're gonna know what this is.
Yeah. To be fair, like I said, some people might be out there and think, "Oh, I know exactly what this is," and some people might be on the edge, and some people not at all. You know, that's the thing. Honestly, we won't agree or disagree or anything like that. It's just one of those things. You just wait once it gets fully announced. But I'll tell you something like this. This is something that we have been planning for months now.
And months, even considering the facts that some of us may have not came back, by the way. Just bearing in mind, right? This was probably the best, like, planning-wise that we've ever done since we've known each other. Because, obviously, I'm not even going to say, we were late to EGC podcast, for God's sake, and they were live-streamed. Like, at least I don't have to really worry about a time frame when it comes to these being pre-recorded. Well, until when we do the live-stream one, and I'll probably see about you and Joe about 20 minutes late. However, it is definitely going to be very interesting. I'm interested to see how people do react to this as well. Because this was also... If you lot saw my video that I posted mid-January, it was labelled as classified projects. This is the classified project that is getting announced. So this is definitely going to be interesting. I think there is definitely going to be some sort of...
That's rude!
At least this is giving content for the Creators Convo TikTok. But
yeah,
to be fair,
that's a good question.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off. That's a good point. Obviously, this is the first episode, so obviously you might bring up some more things in the other podcast with some other people, obviously. But obviously, what are the plans for content creators now? I'm the first podcast. Now it's officially a green light.
It is. It's just gonna be. I'm lost for words because, to be fair, let's have this more.
I do have a question.
All right, go ahead. Have your question.
Well, obviously, you've just said about TikTok, obviously, and that you plan to go onto TikTok. Obviously, I'm assuming the video will go onto YouTube. Will you also do shorts as well at the same time?
Yeah, 100%. So even with the Switch mods and everything, like whatever episode it is, I need to make some sort of content out of it and just kind of like keep promoting the podcast and everything, get it out there. So yeah, 100%.
But obviously, you're right. We've got this. We've got obviously Jaydon and myself back to some sort of, well, less me, but obviously Jaydon's going back to streaming. It's going to be so at the start. Obviously, the idea is that we just want to make brand new communities. Obviously, EGC was something that was amazing, but now we want to bring something new to the table, something different, something unique, and something we all haven't done, and just have a lot of fun doing it. And when I keep saying us, obviously, that might sound there's going to be more people. Obviously, there is plans for more people to come during, obviously, our classified projects. But yeah, honestly, it's just exciting.
We're the king of surprises, so they're definitely not expecting what this could be right now. and this is obviously to leave the episode off on a high note for Creators Convo for the first ever episode. Lee, just before we go, anything else that you would like to add? Anything you would like to say before we go?
Well, to be fair, I think you absolutely smashed it. I don't think there needs much adding. Just make sure that you keep an eye on the socials for the first live episode of Creators Convo.
Yeah!
You do not want to miss it. And obviously, one of the people being on there is Leonard. And honestly, just be excited. Be excited. Like. And obviously, if you haven't already, if you got to the end of this, smash that like button.
Smash the like button! Smash it!
Smash it.
This has been an absolutely amazing first podcast. Lee, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure to have you on. So, yeah. Make sure you follow Creators Convo everywhere. Join the Discord if you want to come on the podcast and you're a creator. No matter what size you are, there's going to be a form in the description. So make sure you go ahead. Lee's got his sexy little logo there as well. A massive shout out to Lee as well. He's the one that made the overlays on your screen right now as well. He's done all of this graphic work. So it is absolutely amazing. I will also just put in the description the tweet that you did regarding like your graphic prices and everything, because obviously if you are looking for some graphic work, this is the guy to go to.
Yeah, I now officially you can pay me now for work. I'm official and stuff like that. My prices, if you look at like comparing to other things, are very cheap for pretty half decent work. Obviously, I'm always improving and stuff like that. And one thing to know is most of my definitely my premium package, which is fair. You can split it into 2 payments if you like. Obviously, I know not everyone can afford a big package at once, but obviously, if you ever lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that's it. Obviously, my work is covered for 6 months, so we'll sort something out. We'll make your main. Once you've designed your main pack, once the pack's designed and done that, you have 6 months that you can edit it, adjust it to what you need it to be. But obviously, just know you can't just randomly add extra scenes or stuff like that once obviously the package is done. Obviously, I'm just happy to adjust that, but obviously just note that I might be working on other stuff, so there would be a delayed period for that. But yeah, like I said, obviously, if you want any graphics, definitely like this beautiful Creators Convo one.
Hey!
Just hit me up on Twitter. Definitely Twitter, but if you can't, obviously, use Jaydon's socials and get Jaydon in contact with me, and we'll sort it another way if you don't use Twitter. But yeah, I do appreciate being on, Jaydon. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Love it. Thank you for being on, Lee. I do appreciate it. And thank you to you guys watching this almost an hour on this episode of Creators Convo, the first ever one. Let's get the air horn on again for that. That is definitely going to deafen some of the viewers. But guys, as I said, drop a like. If there's anyone that you guys would like to see on the Creators Convo podcast and everything, make sure you link them to Discord, all that beautiful stuff. You already know what to do. But thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of Creators Convo. See you in a bit, guys.